Hello, we're going to take a look at some problems from your midterm. We'll start with this first one, and we have some number sets here that we need to be familiar with. The first number set, or the most restrictive number set out of these four, are whole numbers. Whole numbers are just numbers you can count by, and zero. So they're like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, all the positives. No fractions, no decimals. So I'm going to put whole numbers right here is my most restrictive number set. So which one of these are whole numbers? Well, 63 is a whole number. That's the only one we have that's a whole number. Then we have integers. Well, integers are all the whole numbers and they're opposite. So once again, no fractions or decimals, but they include negatives. Should have 3 dots here in the beginning too. So after whole numbers, the next restrictive is integers. So which one of these are integers? Well, the square root of a negative 100, well, that's negative 10. So that's an integer. Okay, negative 17 is an integer. 63 is an integer, but it's also a whole number, so we'll just leave it there. Then the next set of numbers we have are rational numbers. Think of the word ratio. That's what it is. It's a ratio of two integers. It's positive or negative, includes all of the fractions. So if I can write it as a fraction, positive or negative, it's an integer. So we're going to put my integers up here. So 0.52 repeating, I can write that as a fraction. That's 52 over 99. Anything that repeats, I can write as a fraction. And that's it. And then the last set we haven't talked about are irrationals. Well, irrationals are those numbers that can't be written as a fraction. So the only one you have on here that cannot be written as a fraction is negative 3 times the square root of 19. So irrational is not, oh, I just noticed I wrote that in wrong. Rational goes up here, sorry about that. I said one thing and wrote another, okay? So irrational cannot be written as a fraction. So they're going to be decimal numbers that go on forever and ever. Pi would be one we come up with quite often. Now if we take a look at this problem, here we have this parallelogram, and I can see the distance from F to C is R, which means the distance from E to D is also R because they have the same distance. So what happens is the coordinate of point D, you're going to start at negative P, and we're going to add R onto that. Now, you did have the Q part right. It is up Q because it's a horizontal line. But we have to realize that a parallelogram has the opposite sides congruent. Here we have, in this next problem, we have this triangle. What I suggest you do first off, let's fill in the angles of our triangle so we can figure out what angles we have. Now, we're going to use the fact that there's 180 degrees in a triangle. We're also going to use the fact that an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles. So if I take 86 plus 25, I get 111. That is going to be angle BEC. Can't write 111 very well there. And then I know that makes angle E supplementary to that. So if you take 180 minus 111, we get 69 degrees right here. Whoops, I don't know what I did there. Get out of there. There we go, 69 degrees. Okay, and then I know that 69 is equal to 33 plus something, so if I take 69 minus 33, I get angle B or CBE is 36 degrees. Now notice side BE is in both triangles. That's the important part. So if I look at side BE, notice in this triangle it's opposite 33 degrees. Notice 33 degrees is smaller than each one of these. So these other two angles are bigger. So in other words, BE is the smallest side of that triangle. So this is my big triangle. And then if I look over here we have 86. These two are smaller than 86. So these are my small triangle. So what I'm going to do is I want to put them in order for the triangle on the left first. So if I notice the triangle on the left has 25 degrees as my smallest side, so the side opposite 25 degrees is ED, which you had as DE, which is correct. DE is my smallest side. Then my next smallest side is going to be BD, because we're staying within the triangle. And then the biggest side of the triangle on the right here of triangle BED is side BE, which actually is the smallest side of my other triangle, isn't it? So this is where I flip triangles. So then I look at the triangle on the left, triangle BEC, and I say, oh, what's the next biggest angle after 33? Will be 36 degrees, so that means side CE comes next. And then finally, your biggest side of all is going to be side BC, which you had that correct also. You just had a couple of mistakes in there. Okay, this one was kind of frustrating because you did it mostly right. I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem because I have a right triangle, so I know c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So in other words, c is my hypotenuse, so I'm going to say 20 squared equals 16 squared plus x squared. Simplify that, we get 400 equals 256 plus x squared. You minus 256 from both sides, and you get your answer that you came up with. X squared is 144. But I don't want x squared. I want to find x. So x is 12. So that one was kind of frustrating because I think you knew how to do it. And then let's take a look at this one. This is your partitioning of a segment. So first thing I notice, I want the ratio from m to n to p to be 6 to 1. So in other words, I want 6 units from n to n, and I want that to correspond to 1 unit from n to p. Well, what I look at there is that means I'm going to have a total of 7 units. So what I'm going to do is I want to find the distance from m to p. So m to p is 28 units. Now what I want to do is there's each unit then, there's 7 units, so I take 28 divided by 7. That gives me each unit is 4. So what I want to do, since there's 1 unit to p, I'm going to count in 4 from 2. Well, that will give me at -2 then, won't it? So n should be at -2 because 2 minus 4 is -2. I could also look at going from m. M starts at -26. I know there are 6 units there. Well, 6 units, and each unit is 4 long. So then I get -26 plus 24, which gives me -2. So no matter how you do it, you get -2 as point n. And in our last problem, I'm going to write this equation in slope-intercept form. I can do this in a couple different ways, but I think I'm going to do it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. I know x is -4, y is 6, and m is 5/2. So I'll substitute those in. So y is 6, m is 5 halves, x is -4, and I'm going to solve for b. So when I solve for b, I get 6 equals, 2 goes into 4 twice, so you get -10 plus b. Well, then I do is I add 10 to both sides, and b equals 16. So my equation is y equals 5 halves. You had that part right, x, but you had the y-intercept wrong. Your y-intercept should be positive 16, and there's our answer. I think that's it, isn't it? Yes, that is. There we go. Hopefully this will let you redo the midterm